Fermented beverages are increasingly more popular in Asia due to known health benefits ranging from improving digestion, immunity, and even liver function. These drinks come in all forms, and the most common include kombucha, kefir, ciders, beers, and wine. In this edition of Deep Dive, we speak to Hani Islam, the founder of India-based Mountain Bee Kombucha, which produces kombucha, a naturally carbonated functional beverage for gut health. We find out how consumer trends in India has shifted pre to post-pandemic and opportunities for local brands to enter the kombucha market. But first, we find out what inspired her to launch this company.
The foremost reason for me to get into kombucha brewing was my love for food and my constant lookout for beverages that are non-alcoholic, but at the same time quite complex in flavors. And uh, I didn't have much choice in that department. Either it used to be sugary cocktails, the non-alcoholic cocktails, or the concentrate fruit juice. I had not been a big fan. Kombucha gave me a different perspective in enjoying as well as experimenting with flavors and complexities with different ingredients, and that kind of really opened my mind.
So, India is no stranger to fermented products. So, like yogurts and curds have been a traditional part of the diet for hundreds or maybe thousands of years. And then there's also fermented drinks like lassi and kanji. So, in that sense, kombucha is a relatively newer trend, especially in Asia. So, what is the demand for kombucha products in India?
I would say it's quite an irony because kombucha has been discovered in Asia, especially in China, and we started noticing it only because of exposure to the Western markets. And that's how I also got started. I got my culture from California. So, right now, kombucha makes a very minuscule percentage of the whole fermented beverages category. We mostly see packed buttermilk and lassis, which are in the market and they're backed by bigger brands. And otherwise, you would see milk kefir based drinks that are out in the market now. I feel even though India and the whole of Southeast Asia is uh, the melting pot of fermented foods, but kombucha is taking things to another level in terms of popularity. And I feel that even though we have a lot of milk based options, beverages, especially which are available in the market, kombucha would be an interesting take on fun beverage that also has functional benefits attached to it. And India being a country known for its teas, I would say it could be the next big hub for kombucha innovation. For sure, you would see more vegan. Vegan friendly kombuchas coming in, and there will be more local brands who would try to capture the market, especially the bigger cities, because right now that's where the product is, tier 1 cities mostly.
So you expect the increase in consumption of kombucha over the next few years. So just wondering what do you think is driving this consumption trend in the country?
Before the pandemic, I had the thought that it is more popular among people who are well traveled, who are fitness enthusiasts, and people who are looking for alternative beverages to include in their diet, which also has certain functional elements attached to it. But during the pandemic and after the pandemic, I also realized that there's a lot of self education among the customers. They are reading about fermented foods, and there has been a constant increase also in the consumption as well as the sales. The first thing what happens when somebody consumes kombucha is they start seeing an improvement in digestion. Another one very interesting feature of kombucha is that it is the antioxidants available in kombucha are more uh, bioavailable and easily absorbed by our bodies. So a cup of green tea and a cup of kombucha, if you compare, a cup of kombucha will have more available antioxidants for our bodies to absorb and get the benefit out of. Apart from that, kombucha is also rich in B vitamins, which is very interesting because a lot of times people who are on plant-based diet are always looking out for B12s and other B vitamins, not easily available uh, in foods naturally, but kombucha is a source of B vitamins for them.
How do you intend to differentiate your brand from the other kombucha brands in the market?
So we like to divide our products into certain categories. We go by tea variation we use. There is our bestseller, that's the original booch, that's made with high quality orthodox oolong tea from Darjeeling. And then we have black tea based flavors. And the third one is green tea based flavors. And we keep the green tea flavors for certain flavors like our rosé and flower and spice are green tea based. We use very different brewing techniques for those two versus for our the original booch. Right now offering more than 8 flavors to the retail customers with all natural ingredients and botanicals. And at the same time, we have super small batches, some nano batches going on for our clientele who are regularly buying from us, and we offer those special brewers batch to that customer that is not available for the market as such. So we are trying to build a community of kombucha connoisseurs who would get different kinds of kombucha from us, very special and limited edition. So we want to keep doing that. In this way, we end up making the product more nutritious because we ferment certain spices and botanicals along with the kombucha SCOBY in certain flavors, and that adds up to the nutritional profile also.
Right. So, being a small business, how was operating during the COVID-19 pandemic like? Did you face any challenges in your sales or in your supply chain?
Yes, for the most part of the lockdown, a lot of businesses were not operating, mostly because of the availability of raw material, as well as we had problems with our supply chain. Our vendors were not open, and since we are small scale, uh, we don't stock up a lot of our inventory and even our packaging. And in India, the lockdown was pretty harsh for at least 1.5 month. The food businesses were allowed to be open, but at what cost? I mean, we didn't have material to play around with. So towards the end of May, things became things started to become pretty normal, and since then we started to be operational. We Our vendors started to start open their shops. There has been a constant, I would say, around 10% increase in our sales month on month, if I talk from July onwards, because May, June were kind of rough. In the coming years, it will definitely be an important time for the brands who make kombucha to educate as well as flourish and find their USP around making the beverage. And it's definitely going to increase because of the education level of consumers for fermented foods is increasing.